Wow, I'm glad I don't have that, which is very similar to the words that the Buddha himself used. Aha, I see you, Myra. So you would have also the thought, aha, I see you, girl. Out you go. And then we take joy in the fact that we can, in fact, change the way that we're thinking. We can change our mind. Most people don't think that you can, but you can. All you have to do is recognize that you do it often. Somebody knocks on your door, and all of a sudden you've changed your mind. Whatever the mind was thinking of, it's not that anymore. Now you're thinking about the door knock. It's good to see you again. Been a
Thank you. Nice to see
while.
you too. Mm-hmm.
And you've asked an interesting question and said quite a lot about it. Uh, in the sense that uh, right now you feel driven to be on the make.
Yes.
Okay, and we can look at various aspects of that, because you also said that when you sit down to meditate, you feel agitated instead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Well, what that means is that you're sitting down and noticing agitation, but you're not doing what you need to do to bring yourself back to a state of homeostasis or a state of well-being or whatever. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason for that is because you don't want to be in a state of well-being, a state of
Okay.
everything is okay. You're out on the make,
Okay.
which means definitely you want something. And the
Yeah.
important part about that is that you want something you don't have.
Yes.
Yes. So even if you get one girl, that's still on the make. You want another. And soon
Mm-hmm.
you recognize that it's girls that I'm after, where in fact we're not looking at the fact that right now you feel like you're on the make.
Mm-hmm.
And girls are just one of the items on the list that you want when you're in a
Mm-hmm.
great state of desire.
Yes.
Okay. This is, in fact, the Buddha's definition of suffering,
Mm-hmm.
wanting something we don't have.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's basically what we mean by being on the make, means you're out there wanting something that you don't have, and you feel like you got to have it. The feeling is that you got to have it. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost as if suddenly we have woken up to the point that we are somehow missing a key ingredient.
Mm-hmm.
We're not quite sure what it is, but we go out after it, and many times we'll think, does this girl fill in that hole?
Yeah.
Does this girl fill me up finally? How can I be actually filled up? And so we're out there looking for something to fill ourselves up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But you also have to understand that that's an attitude of that it's a complex attitude. First, the attitude is that I'm not whole
Mm-hmm.
and that I cannot just fill it myself. I've got to go get someone or something to go fill that hole up.
Mm-hmm.
And that something may be a young woman now, or it might be a psychotherapist or a guru or a job on Wall Street or something like that that we think from time to time will fill that hole so that we don't feel like we're missing out on something, a key ingredient. But recognize also that that's an attitude that we already have cultivated, and we've been cultivating that attitude for many, many years.
Yeah.
And out of that attitude comes those kind of thoughts.
Yeah.
All right. But we can change the attitude. This is what the
Mm-hmm.
real teachings of the Buddha is all about, is that Eightfold Noble Path winds up in a very big change in attitude, from the attitude of I need something, I need her, I love her, I want her, into she's nice, but I don't need her.
Exactly. Okay. Okay.
Okay. This is a change in attitude. And the way that we go about getting that change of attitude is by practicing anapanasati correctly.
Okay.
which basically means that we begin to recognize what thoughts are unwholesome and what thoughts are wholesome. So we start putting in the mind wholesome thoughts, and when we do, we begin to have wholesome feelings rather than feelings of longing and emptiness based upon needing something. In fact, I feel pretty good right now.
Mm-hmm.
Once we keep practicing that, we get very good at it, and then we get the attitude, I can do this. I can feel good all by myself. I don't need something on the outside to give me love. I've got all the love that I need. Okay. This actually reminds me of the song Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places, which is where
Okay.
people go looking for love. They go looking for love outside themselves. They go looking for love in someone that's attractive but from the opposite sex. Or sometimes we go looking for love for someone that's in our the same sex. And some people call that naughty. Other people
Mm-hmm.
call it gay. But the whole point is that we're out there looking for love, and we're looking for it in all the wrong places.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you will be, even with success out there, will still feel that longing. That
Yes.
the success out there does not fill up that emptiness inside that we don't like.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first thing that we can learn today on this, is that we're looking for love in all the wrong places, which means when we find what we think is love out there, it winds up being not satisfying.
Okay.
And so the first thing that we can do then is when we do sit down for a moment to think about things over again, practicing anapanasati, we begin to watch the mind to look at what kind of thoughts that are there, with the idea that if they're about the past, about the future, about some girl someplace way off there, then that's not about here now. And so anything that we achieve in the mind now about that will be unsatisfying because we're not out there doing that right now. So let's
Mm-hmm.
work on what we're doing right now. And right now, I can take a deep breath. And right now, I can think wholesome thoughts about how nice things are right now. And then thoughts of some girl will come up, and we can recognize, oh, but that girl is not here. If she was knocking on the door, I would answer the door. But since she is only knocking on the mind's door, let's just not answer it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. And so we throw the thoughts of that girl out. If you can
Okay.
throw one, if you can throw a thought out, one girl thought out at a time, you're okay. But when people hear about removing those thoughts from the mind, they say, well, wait a minute, I've got a whole crowd of girls. No, you don't have to throw them out all together at one time. You can't do that anyway. But you can
Yeah.
throw out one girl that you are thinking about right now. And so this thought is making me feel like I need something that I don't have. And so that puts me in a state of deprivation just by thinking about that girl, because she's
Mm-hmm.
here only in my mind, not reality. If she were here in reality, we could talk differently. But right now, she's not here. And
Mm-hmm.
because of that, she doesn't belong in the mind. She's there
Mm-hmm.
crowding out the mind in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And that we have those kind of thoughts, hoping that that girl in a thought will fill up that hole inside.
Mm-hmm.
But we can also recognize that those kind of thoughts are dangerous because they're not satisfying. Let's have more satisfying thoughts.
Okay.
And so it's all about getting back to the practice correctly. But it's important for you to recognize that you have, in fact, taken that turn off into wanting something that you don't have. And that's become very important to you. That, in fact,
Mm-hmm.
it only happens from time to time. That
Mm-hmm.
not all year does it last. Sometimes you're on the make, and then sometimes you're not. You get
Yes.
either distracted or you start thinking about something else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that means that these things kind of come and go in cycles. If that's true, then you can begin to take control of those cycles so that you can say, okay, you're up, but now you're down and go out.
Mm-hmm.
that you've had enough of being depraved and on the make.
Mm-hmm.
You've had enough of it. You find out enough of it. You've done enough of it now to recognize that whole system is unsatisfactory and therefore
Mm-hmm.
is easily dismissed because it is dangerous, unsatisfactory, not wholesome. Now that you can see that, it's much easier to get rid of those thoughts. But when you're in the make, when you're on the take, when you're in that state, and you want that thing so badly, then we're blind to it,
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
and we cannot see the dangers in it. But
Mm-hmm.
now that we can draw back and see that while you're talking to me, that you're not in that state, that
Mm-hmm.
now the next time that you start into that state, you can catch that and say, wait a minute, I'm not going there because I know what a mess I make of myself when I do. Let's not
Yes.
get wrapped up in girls right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right. We do not need a room full of girls in the
Mm-hmm.
mind. And that's what happens, one after another, after another, after another. So the way to start thinking about it is um, say goodbye to each one of them as they come to mind. One and by one as they occur. We don't need that particular girl right now. What we need is a sense of well-being, a sense of feeling good, a
Mm-hmm.
sense of everything is all right, everything's fine. And we can talk to girls later. Right now, I don't need one.
Okay. Okay.
Right now, I don't need one. That's always thinking about it in the moment because, in fact, there are no actual real girls in the room. So any girls that are there are always in the mind. If you've got an
Mm-hmm.
actual real girl in the room, the whole show is different now. Now you've got
Mm-hmm.
a whole new thing to deal with. But right now, when there's no girls around, we have to deal with recognizing that having girls in the mind, wanting one or both or all of them, is unwholesome. It's
Okay.
unsatisfying. We never really get what we want from them.
Okay.
So we can say enough of this. Let me be happy. I could be here happy all by myself with no place to go. That's when we come back down upon the sati, take a deep breath, and recognize, well, I'm actually better off without that crowd.
Okay. Yes, that I'll definitely take remind myself like and affirm myself of that for my next meditations for sure. I think that helps a lot.
Well, how about right now, though? This is the time for meditation. It's not that
Hmm.
idea of going someplace and doing something. It's the
Okay.
matter of is every time that we remember to throw those girls out of the mind, then we throw them out one at a
Hmm.
time. Out you go, because you can only
Hmm.
have a thought about a girl one girl at a time. Is too much to think about two of
Hmm.
them. So one girl at a time, out they go, and that's the way to think about it. Every time the girl comes into mind, anytime any kind of unwholesome thought comes to mind, we can recognize that thought is unwholesome, and the major criteria is that that thought is about something that is not real right here, right now. If here it is, then it's real. If it's not here, then it's not real. It's only imaginary. So thoughts about your past, thoughts about the future, thoughts about work to do, thoughts about places to go, thoughts about other places, thoughts about other people. Anybody that's not right here, right now, is not worth thinking about.
Hmm.
But what is worth thinking about is, well, how nice it is without them.
Hmm.
Wow, how nice it is to just be here all alone with no place to go and nothing to do, and everything is really easy peasy. Everything is happy. Everything is cushy right now.
Hmm.
Why? Because all of those people that used to worry me just a moment ago are now out. They're gone.
Hmm.
And that's a relief. So that's the way that you want to think about it is that when you get the girl out of your mind, that's a relief. You don't have to think
Hmm.
about that right. I don't have to want her right now.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
Everything is all right here in this present moment.
Mm-hmm.
This is anapanasati. This is the gladdening of the mind using only wholesome thoughts. And with that, then becomes the feeling that are associated with that. You can literally walk and talk yourself into feelings of safety and security. And when we're
Mm-hmm.
thinking about the girl, we feel unsafe without her. We need her. But now we can have thoughts of, wow, how safe I feel. Just all here by myself. I don't need anyone or anything to feel safe and secure. Here I am all alone, feeling safe and secure. Nothing's
Mm-hmm.
attacking. No alligators in the room, no crocodiles, no mafia, no SWAT teams breaking in, no girls knocking on the door, nothing. Everything is all right. Everything is fine. And we can feel safe and secure. Also, we don't need anything, so we can feel comfortable and satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need anything. I don't need anything right now. I'm just good to go right now. I'm not hungry. I'm not thirsty. I'm not thinking about something that I want or need. Everything is good right now. With those kind of thoughts, we move out of thoughts of dukkha into thoughts of dukkha nirodha, or in fact, this is the third noble truth that we want to get ourselves into. The third noble truth is everything's okay, everything's fine, everything is satisfying. I've got no wants or desires, everything is okay. This is
Mm-hmm.
the end of suffering. Because right now, I'm not suffering. Right now, everything's okay. Isn't that marvelous? Because we spend so much
Mm-hmm.
time suffering. Right now, no suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is how we want to practice, is getting ourselves into the state to where there's no problems, no suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that would seem hard when we're coming right out of that agitated, worried, I got to have her, I got to have her, I got to have her uh, attitude mind state. And
Mm-hmm.
so it may take a while to keep throwing those thoughts out, throwing those thoughts out, and telling yourself, everything's okay right now. I don't need that. I'm fine just like things are. And you practice that over and over again, and you'll begin to let all of those thoughts of desires and wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can uh, really work or play with gladdening the mind. Well, I don't have to think about her right now. Well, I'm glad she's gone. Well, I'm glad I don't need any of that right now. So these are the
Mm-hmm.
kind of thoughts you have of, wow, I'm glad I don't have that, which is very similar to the words that the Buddha himself used. Aha, I see you, Myra. So you would have also the thought, aha, I see you, girl. Out you go. And then we take joy in the fact that we can, in fact, change the way that we're thinking. We can change our mind. Most people don't think that you can, but you can. All you have to do is recognize that you do it often. Somebody knocks on your door, and all of a sudden you've changed your mind. Whatever the mind was thinking of, it's not that anymore. Now you're thinking about the door knock.
Mm-hmm.
So that shows you that the mind can change that fast. But now we're going to do it simply because we remember to do it. We want to change the
Okay.
mind and put happy thoughts in.
Mm-hmm.
You practice that over and over and over again. Chase the unwholesome thoughts out that lead to desire and wants and unsatisfactory feelings, and get yourself into satisfied feelings. This is great. This feels good.
But how can, for example, because I agree with that, I perfectly agree with that. But then, for example, not most of my friends don't meditate, and then they, of
Well,
course, they still have that mindset, like, I need to have something to make me feel better. How can I, like, because how can I stay firm in my own beliefs?
well, you're changing the subject completely, but I don't mind us doing that in the sense
Okay.
that it's better for you to not associate your guys that have their tongue hanging out about girls and
Mm-hmm.
start spending your time in more wholesome friendships.
Okay.
So one of the things that then on that regard that I would recommend, in fact, this is a big issue, is that we need more Western Sangha because many of the Dhammadus and the budding Dhammadus, they don't know each other. They're practicing alone and they still associate with the people that are not wholesome for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so for you to be wholesome and maintain wholesomeness, it's better for you to associate with people who also are working on and maintaining their wholesome lifestyle and their attitudes and their thoughts.
Okay.
That's what you do, is that you find good friends.
Okay.
And so there's a lot of good Buddhist friends out there, especially if you go to our Discord. There's a lot of guys on, about 100 or so. And there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people that are here on Skype that I know. And I'm
Okay.
actually encouraging the guys to get to know each other, to talk Dhamma with each other,
Mm-hmm.
to hash over this issue with each other, because others will have had this issue, talk to me about it, and one will say this, said Dhammarato, and the other will say, yeah, he told me this, and blah blah blah, and the next thing you're both of you are increasing your confidence that you can control your own mind, and that you
Mm-hmm.
can choose to feel the way that you want to feel.
Okay. Could you perhaps send me? I'm not sure if I'm in the Discord. I'll double check.
Every video has that Discord address
Okay.
on YouTube. You know how you know the YouTube
No, I don't think
videos.
so. I don't think so.
Okay, there's a lot of YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
All you
Do I
have to
just
do
search
is go into
Dhammarato?
YouTube and type in Dhammarato.
Okay. Okay. Dhammarato Dhamma. Okay. Perfect.
That's on your.
Okay.
All right. So yes, there are lots and lots of videos there.
Mm-hmm.
And that I encourage all of the people on the YouTube videos there to meet, discuss, and talk to each other about the Dhamma, to find a whole new set of friends,
Okay. Sounds good.
a whole new set of friends to work with the Dhamma.
Mm-hmm.
So you can encourage others to be wholesome and allow them to encourage you to be wholesome, and everybody's friends. You don't criticize each
Exactly.
other, say, aha, my Dhamma is better than your Dhamma,
Mm-hmm.
which is common enough on places like Reddit.
Exactly. I
So,
feel that.
so this is what I would recommend is that, and I'll send you a link or two for some people that you can meet up with. There's also an organization that's getting started called Did, which has and writing that could use some help. And so
Mm-hmm.
some of the names that are on the people that I send you in Skype will also be the guys that are in the Open Sangha collective.
Okay.
Okay, so these guys are really into Dhamma.
Okay. That's great.
That's great. All right, Lawrence, it's been a long time since you called. We'll leave this
Yes,
has been
has
a
been.
short call because it's been penetrating. We've gone right into
Yes,
the topic, covered
exactly.
that. And so
Precisely.
we'll finish now,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's great
we'll
though. I
go
really
on.
appreciate it.
All
I learned a lot.
right. Well, when will you call again?
Maybe in a week or two.
Great. I'll see you then.
Yes. Okay. See you, Dhammarato.
Okay. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye. Ciao.